Hey guys, it's the Tominator. So much has been made of Hunter Labrada finishing 4th ahead of Nick Walker this year, who came in 5th. My initial reaction was the same as many of yours. Like, what the hell? How did Hunter beat him? Truthfully, I was perplexed, but after going back and reviewing the footage from both prejudging and finals, I sort of get it. Sort of, not really. To be clear, I still probably would have had their positions reversed, with Nick in front, but it's not as huge of a robbery as many people on social media are making it out to be. So first we're going to check them out in prejudging, then go through all the poses again in the finals to get the full picture. I'm going to try not to comment too much on the other competitors, or this will be like a 30-minute video and I want to keep it focused. So here we've got Hunter and Nick in the center. Nick is the one in the blue trunks and Hunter's wearing black. And yeah, Nick has him beat here in the front relax, no question. Way more separated abs and grainier thighs. The front double is Nick's as well. Bigger biceps, way more detail through the core with the flexed abs, and same goes for the quads. In Hunter's defense, he is more symmetrical. Nick's left arm is significantly larger than the right, and Labrada has a nicer flow and outline maybe. But come on, this is the Olympia. It's a freak show where the most muscular and conditioned guys rule the day. So you gotta give this shot to the mutant. Yeah, sorry Hadi and Justin, you both look awesome, but you're not the focus of the vid. So in the front lat spread. Look, I know I just said all that stuff about freaky mass and conditioning, but I'm sorry, this is just not a good shot for Nick. Barely any taper to speak of, the torso's too long, the legs are too short, the whole pose just looks out of whack. I don't know how to say it diplomatically, but he needs to go back to the drawing board on this. Even William Bonac looks better, and this is hardly a knockout shot for him either. So Labrada wins this on structure and proportions alone. For what it's worth, I might have Ian over there on the left beating all of them, although Hadi would have ran away with this pose, I'm sure. In the side chest, though, Walker bounces back with a vengeance. He looks great here. Tons of thickness, really round through the arms and pecs, nice lower body separation. I'd have him first here in the whole call-out. Labrada is lagging in the chest. Those pecs are way too thin and underdeveloped in comparison to his shoulders, and he's not quite as dry in the glutes and upper hamstrings. I would have Bonac after Nick for those insanely bubbly arms and massive legs. His chest is a tad undersized though as well, but Nick beats Hunter easily. The back double also goes to Walker. Better lower lats, peakier biceps, and more density through the hamstrings. Even his calves are more defined, although Hunter's are probably a little better from a genetic standpoint with the lower insertion points. Hunter looks good, but Nick is just a step above. Okay, we missed the lat spread because the cameraman decided he only wanted to show Ian and Bonac for some reason. So in that case, I'd have Bonac winning there. Thicker back and more detailed through the lower body. Don't worry though, we'll catch this one in the finals. But as for the side triceps, this is a tough call because both of them look superb. I actually think Hunter's stance is a little over the top though, maybe a bit too exaggerated. But his lateral tricep head is superior to Nick's, and his near shoulder looks a little better also. Walker's got the more defined wheels and some excellent arm development in his own right. They both excel in terms of the midsection, so sheesh man, take your pick, you can't go wrong. For my money, I'm leaning towards Walker right now because I just feel he's a little more polished from head to toe. Hunter's legs are definitely softer. William looks great too. For that matter, everybody in this call-out has a pretty strong side tri. But let's keep it moving. The ab and thigh goes to Nick because his abs are more deeply separated. Yet Hunter's midsection isn't as bad as some are making it out to be. It looks fine here and is showing plenty of cuts. But again, the lower body conditioning lets him down. Of course, we all know this is Hadi's pose, and it's not even close. Best midsection in the open class today, hands down. In the most muscular, Hunter has some crazy vascularity going on in his upper pecs. That's truly freaky, and you'd expect to find it on a physique like Nick's rather than Labrada's. But anyway, the hand on hip looks great, but I'm not sure it's enough to take out the mutant. Nick's arms are just too outstanding right now, and there isn't really anything missing when you go body part for body part. Whereas with Hunter, as we just saw in the last pose, he could stand to have a little more separation in those abs and quads. Bonac looks pretty crazy here too. It's nuts how similar he and Nick appear in this shot because for the most part, they have very different physiques. In fact, William might even be edging Nick out here because he's got the better quads and calves. But yeah, between the two in the middle, I'm giving Walker the advantage. So, after prejudging, I had Nick winning almost every pose. He only lost the front lat spread and probably the rear lat spread as well, although we didn't get to see that. The side triceps could have potentially gone to Hunter, but everything else belonged to Nick. So, no, I don't see a fair scenario where Hunter deserves to place 4th here in prejudging. Unless this livestream was majorly misleading us, that's just faulty judging. In fact, based on this quick analysis, I probably would have had William Bonac ahead of him as well, with Labrada in 6th, but hey, that's just me. And now let's find out how these two stacked up the next night in the finals, and see if anything changes. So once again in the front double biceps, I've got Nick. The arms and midsection are still better, and it's hard to overlook Hunter's pec tear. Whenever he raises his arms like that and the light hits it in a certain way, you can see that knot of tissue there in his left pec. Looks almost like gyno, and it's pretty hard to unsee it once you notice it. Valliere looks good here too. Just needs a bigger chest and more separation through the bis and quads, but he carves a very nice outline. Front lat spread still goes to Hunter. I was pretty harsh on Nick the first time around, so won't say anything further here. I know some of you guys don't like it when I'm mean. Bunch of oversensitive pansies. Anyway, in the side chest, yeah, Nick still takes this. Hunter's arguably last, or at best, fighting Ian for 3rd. In his defense, I will say this though. Hunter's coloring was spot on, and he looks a little sharper here than he did in prejudging. So expect him to steal an extra pose or two as we continue on. The back double is still Nick's, but it's a lot closer now. He hangs on mainly because of those incredible biceps and hamstrings, but Hunter's closed the gap to a large extent in terms of the back. His upper back, shoulders, and arms now look crisper than Nick's. Nick looks like he could have used a bit more posing oil perhaps. Overall, he was a bit softer through the upper body compared to prejudging. The rear lat spread is decisively Hunter, much wider across the lats. Walker's done a fantastic job of bringing up his back thickness, but over the next year or two, he's going to have to work on his width because he's still pretty lousy in the lat spreads, and that's literally a quarter of the poses right there. I'm not saying this as a hater, it's meant to be constructive criticism because I want to see him continue to climb the ranks and max out his potential. The side tricep I now think goes to Hunter. That horseshoe's just so meaty and really kind of jumps off the bone, so to speak. The cross striations provide the finishing touch and are reminiscent of Phil Heath. Just amazing genetics in that area, and even his posing technique is improved here. Doesn't look as forced as it did before. Walker's still very good, but I'd say Hunter overtakes him now. But this one is so close, I'm sure opinions will be mixed. The abs and thighs stays in Nick's court for the same reasons mentioned earlier. And ditto for the most muscular. Actually, I might give the nod here to Bonac overall, since he's also effective in the crab. I always like to reward a guy for versatility, you know? However, when Hunter matches Nick in the hands clasped, I think there is an argument to be made for him. He's much broader across the shoulders, and the quads are finally showing some decent cuts. Plus his chest looks more impressive with all the veins snaking through it. But then again, Nick still has the better tricep sweep, brachioradialis, abs, and pec delt tie-in. Is that even a term, pec delt tie-in? Well, it should be. Why do you only hear about a glute ham tie-in? I've always wondered that. But anyway, now that we've examined all of this in detail, I think we can definitively state that the complaints are valid. Nick Walker deserved 4th place over Hunter Labrada. I wouldn't call it a screw job necessarily, as Hunter still looked really good and was probably at his all-time best, but it is a little curious how the judges unanimously agreed that he was better than Nick Walker on both nights. Might that Labrada Nutrition sponsorship have anything to do with the results? Not sure. I don't really pay attention to the ads, but have seen comments online claiming they were one of the top sponsors this year, in which case, I sincerely hope not, guys. Lord knows we don't need any more political shenanigans at the Olympia. Anyway, like I said, it's possible that the webcast is just deceiving us and Hunter looked more impressive in real life, so I'm not about to start a protest or anything just yet. But let us know in the comments, what's your take on this whole situation? Where do you think Nick and Hunter should have placed? But as for me, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, it's the Tominator, signing out.